Konnichiwa, welcome to this video. Today you've already seen from the title what we've got, so it's a bit of a special model as well. Let's get to it. Welcome to another N-Gauge model railway unboxing video on the M10 railway. So today we're going to have a look at a special train pack which Kato brought out. Actually closely to when they brought out the SL Hitayoshi. So very nicely it was packed in this plastic bag, even though it was imported, which is really nice because the box is in such a nice condition that keeping it in the bag is probably going to be what I do in the future here on out. But for this video, let's get it out. So make sure we don't move it around too much and don't scratch it, unlike the Hitayoshi box. Of course, whether or not you can or can't read that, I can't actually see if the camera can see it properly. This is the 7 Stars in Kyushu cruise train. So it was brought out as a special edition model in 2013, and let's take a look at it. So let's have a quick look around the box. It's a very nice see-through case. You can see all the fingerprints. I'll have to get those cleaned off, unfortunately. It is a very, very shiny case. You've got the nice printing down the side as well, the gold crested printing that comes with it. So as I say, unfortunately it does fingerprint like heck. I will need to get I will get that cleaned off later on, especially hopefully for the photos. So yeah, there's 2 boxes that come in it, so let's get this out. There's a nice thick case compared to the normal sleeves that are on the models, so it's not as easily crushable as well. So put this to the side. We'll try to put this somewhere which I won't scratch it at least. Or I could just put it back in the bag. I guess that's another way. So why have we purchased a 7 Stars in Kyushu? I keep on calling it the 7 Seas. Well, because kind of why not? It looks really nice. I met the train in real life, and having Hitayoshi already means that it's not like it's outside my region anymore. I'm supposed to be doing primarily JR West stuff, but I guess some of the Shinkansens make it out to Kyushu as well. So anyways, let's get into it. So we've got 2 boxes. This is box A and box B. It's all one pack obviously, so it doesn't really matter whether or not they're open separately or not. So we can see the model underneath right there. Not looking too bad, does it? Let's get our info booklet out. Should be the instruction manuals, which is printed very, very nicely in color as well, which is really nice. So special edition casing, information obviously, standard instruction manuals. Otherwise, you've got your DF200 7000. It's a special locomotive which was made just for the service. It's a DF200, but usually it's a freight locomotive, so it's modified as a passenger locomotive. You can put DCC in this model, yeah, and I assume you can fit things like lights and so on as well if you feel to do so. Obviously we probably won't. Usually this is the front page as well, which is interesting. So it's now the inside page, and then you've got obviously your spare parts, because you can still get your spare parts if you do so. It's also got the EMU style couplings, so that's a bit different, and you can turn on and off. I assume those are the trailing lights that I can't see. So there is a little, let's have a look at what's in here. We've got a gold painted, so gold colored little screwdriver. This is to turn on and off the lights. So that's pretty standard with a lot of Kato's models which have lights in some way, because I think this has obviously got tail lights or something fitted, but they're usually just grey. Let's get the locomotive out. This is going to be a bit of fun getting all the stuff out. It is 8 units, so it's going to cause a bit of a mess behind us, but let's get it out. Hopefully I'm not going to take too long, because we're already at 5 minutes into this video. Here we have our locomotive. I really should get some gloves on, honestly. This is going to get messy, but very nice, highly detailed model of this, looking really nice. It's also using the smaller style Kato knuckle couplers, so it does make it incompatible with the rest of my fleet, but it wouldn't usually run with any other locomotives. So let's get our first carriage out. Again, in this very, very nice finish that makes me not want to touch the model, which makes it very, very hard. It's got the end cutter right there. A nice panoramic view. It's got all the seats and stuff in it, which is really nice. Don't think they have the lights pre-fitted, which is unfortunate. But I guess we'll find out whether or not that is true or not. Would have been nice because it means that you wouldn't have to open it up, but what can you do sometimes? And it's got the coupler, got the knuckle on one side and the EMU style coupler on the other. What's this? This is your dining carriage, it looks like. You've got a lot of your dining tables on the inside, so I don't know when I'm standing up this high, well, do I actually get the blast the model in camera properly, honestly, but I try to. This is, looks like just a sitting carriage. Very, very nice. So that's our first set of units. I've just dropped it. So we'll pack all this up and then we'll go into the second box. Alright, second box. The unfortunate fact is nearly anything that comes onto this railway ends up being coated in a layer of dust. So we've got another carriage. This carriage looks like sleeping compartments. So from what I hear, the carriages are built uniquely for the service. They're new build carriages and each carriage is themed as well, based on what kind of class you're getting. It's a very, what's it called? It's a, for people who don't know what the 7 Stars in Kyushu is, it's a cruise train that operates around Kyushu. Usually always fully booked. It's a very expensive high level train, something like our Gun and Indian Pacific services, but to a even higher degree in luxury, as they call it. You can ride the train for anywhere between 2 through to 7 days. So the full loop takes 7 days, so you can basically take it for a full loop, but the cost will basically speak that. Each carriage is also numbered 1 through to 7. So there we go. That's all our carriages now out. Let's go take a close look at them. And let's have a look at their details. Hopefully I haven't put too many fingerprints on them. I really hope I haven't. Alright, we've made it to the desk. We've got our lead unit and our leading carriage, so the carriage that follows the engine. We're going to do our close look in 3 parts this time, where we're going to have a look at the DF200 on its own, and the carriage pack is going to be split into 2 and 3. First part of those carriage pack, we'll have a look at the 2 end cars 1 and 7. And then we'll have a look at the intermediate cars. Pretty sure it's 1 and 7. I might be slightly wrong with my numbering. Obviously, because there's a lot of carriages, we may also put another one with the front carriages. We'll just see which one matches with it, sort of thing. So, anyways, we'll do a quick spin of the 2 that we currently have on. So obviously we have the DF200 and the front carriage at the moment, car 1. And then we'll go into its history. The JR class DF200 is a diesel-electric locomotive built by Kawasaki Heavy Industries, entering service in 1994 with the purpose of increasing operational speed and removing the need for double heading, which the DD51s had become accustomed to. 50 units were constructed, including the prototype unit. All but 1 was used for freight operation. The single -700 series unit was built for JR Kyushu for use on the 7 Star in Kyushu cruise train, which began operation in 2013. JR Freight is already in discussions regarding a replacement to the class, which plans to begin in 2027. Along with this, the prototype unit was retired from service in 2023, being slightly unique to the rest of the fleet. Alright, time for the first part of our close look. As we say, we're going to have a look at the DF200 unit on its own, and there we go. It's definitely not too bad of a model starting us off. It's I was just got back from doing a lot of bigger models, HO00 stuff, so it's kind of interesting getting back to another smaller model. This is being filmed out of order as well, so let's go and begin our close look. Starting off at the front of our unit, we can see that it looks pristine. It's got the rather unique front that this particular model has. There's only one of these DF200s have been built, and only one of them in that operate for this train. It's got very nice gold lining throughout the model. I have to make sure that the light that we're using doesn't blind out half the engine so that we can actually see what we're doing. But it's got some very nice handrails fitted, very nice little bits of detail. It's got wipers, but they are molded to the screen, it looks like, and molded to the windscreen. No reason why it shouldn't have working headlights on a model with this exquisite, you would hope so. It's very nice, very fine with the detail. It's got the MU sockets also fitted. These come pre-fitted with the Kato's knuckle style couplers, so it is not fitted with the Arnolds out of the box. It doesn't have any Arnolds in the box at all, in fact. So cool. It's the first model that we have in the fleet that utilizes these couplers. Moving along to the side, we can see the rather nice livery application and printing has been continued through to the side. We've got the 7 Stars logo on the side of the unit. Very nicely gold plated. Not as in plated as in like a watch plating, but it's just it's not a flat side, so it's not just a printed plating. It seems like they've put like a little bit of a layer on it, which is pretty nice. Very fine lettering work. The locomotive utilizes a tri-bow setup, so 3 bogies, all powered into the radiator fan. Most of this, other than the livery and especially with the center part, should be pretty bog standard for an DF200, which are primarily seen in use by JR Freight. But obviously this isn't a freight locomotive, so this engine has been slightly modified for passenger operation. Onto the rear cab of the unit, it's got the same sort of exquisite detail as per the front end. Don't know which is the front or the rear really. There are bi-directional locomotives for a reason, and front and rear are usually the same. So we can see that there's also some very fine printing underneath the windscreen. So it's an absolute exquisite model, and you would expect it for the sort of model that this really is. So once again, we get our back onto the other side, pretty much the same sort of thing as the first side we went through. So, but yeah, so remembering this is a cruise train, so very unique in its own. So that gets us through the locomotive. Looks very good, as we can see. Very high detail model, where the detail needs to be. Very good paint job. It will create finger marks though, so definitely probably not a model to be picked up too often. So other than that, let's go into the carriages and have a look at and see how their quality compares to the engine. Alright, so we've got 3 of the carriages now. Carriages 1, 4 and 7 I think it was. I'm also not 100% sure on how I orientated the number 4 carriage. I mistakenly rotated them a few too many times and now I don't know the correct orientation, so I have to go and sort that out before we start running. But let's take a quick look around these carriages. Try to keep it quick anyways. Following through with the very nice paint job and printing jobs that the locomotive had, these carriages also don't disappoint. We get a bit of an interior as well. We can see the massive observation section side of the car. We had some things in the inside. You can probably, if you really want to, go in and detail it even more, but it doesn't look too bad either. These carriages should not come with lights built in. I don't know what's it called in terms of interior lighting, but we'll find out whether or not, but I don't think they do. We're fitted with a Kato knuckle coupler on the end, but if we move over to the side, you'll notice that we've got the EMU style couplers between the carriages. Not 100% sure if this is correct in real life, but we've got the EMU couplers, which means that you can only run the train in this form, unless you of course have EMU carriages. We're coming on to car number 7. You can see the very nicely printed sides of the unit. Very fine printing jobs. We can see even the Kyushu Railway Company plastered below the gold lining around the Kyushu 7 stars in Kyushu. I am not going to try to say any of that on the top side. So glazing looks really good. It is a fingerprint, I forgot the word, but it picks up fingerprints like no one's business. So it's very, very hard to pick this up without keeping it clean. So a bit annoying, but what can you do? It's a sort of model it is, isn't it? So onto the end of cars number 7 and 4. You can see the the gangways between the carriages. They have an open door. So they're just left open. There's no dividing car or whatever it is for them, but I suppose you wouldn't really notice it anyways. You can notice that the end cars have a larger gangway door compared to the center cars, which is interesting. But all carriages have AC units fitted to the roofs, which is good, and bogies are pretty nicely detailed as well. Coming onto the side of car number 1, we can see once again the gorgeous sides. You can see that as you look through the insides of the interior, yes, there definitely is the interior for these carriages, at least for the end cars. So, not a bad looking model, if I don't say so myself. Let's go have a quick look at the other 4 carriages, just so we can see what a normal sitting car will look like, and then we'll head over. Alright, so we have our last 4 carriages. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We've got them coupled up together to make 2 sets of 2. So we can have a look at the couplers for them as well. So let's get started, I guess. Once again, you can see the 2 differences in gangways between the larger and the smaller gangways between some of the carriages. Because of course cars 2 and 6 will couple it up to car 1 and 7. So coming around to them, you know, what's it called? Not really much you can see here other than just the gangways, but you can see the very nice pristine paintwork that's been put onto these models. Looks really good actually, as I have pretty much said all throughout the video. Very, very nice paintwork. We can see the detailing as well on the inside of these models. These are should be the sitting and sleeping cars. I'm not 100% mistaken, or some of them should be anyways. So they should be compartmented. We can see the couplings for the EMU couplings are working really nicely. Gets the models pretty close up to each other, not too far apart, but definitely doesn't look too bad as well. Probably won't look too bad once everything is connected to one. I'm hoping the chocks stay on these models properly. Continuing along the sides, it's pretty much all the same as usual. I forgot to talk about the undercarriage detail, and you can see there's quite a bit underneath it. Of course, it's a lot harder to see because you've got the outer shielding, but there is undercarriage detail, and it's not too bad. Especially because these aren't motorized, meaning that you can they're real undercarriage detailing. You can see between these carriages you've got the 2 smaller ends, which is interesting because that means we've got a smaller end to a larger end on one of the sides. Gotta go and check that up. So, and we're onto the other side of the unit. I'm just trying to keep this as quick as possible, but it means that you guys can at least have a look and glamour at the detail and see any parts that you want to see before making any conclusions. But we can see the finely printed detailing once again. Very, very fine printing, especially from that star. Now that brings us back to the front of the unit. So there we are. Not too bad a looking of a train. Very, very nice to look at. Let's go and get them onto the rails and give them a test run. Alright, some time has passed since we did the first part of the video, but here we are, finally at the layout. We also mic'd up for this part. This is probably the first video that first unboxing video that we're fully mic'd up. It's a bit easier to do so. So anyways, we've got the train off to the side, back in its box, because it has been quite a while. You can see the setup is a little bit different this time. This is more for in the future, for some of the other models that we're checking out, which are Phitomics models. It allows us to also check out the Tomics models with the Tomics controllers, because we've noticed that they buzz quite a bit previously. So we've got a Tomics loop on the inside, as you can see by the D10 with the Takasaki rake. However, today it's a Kato model, but we'll always do start the same way off. We'll always start with the train on the outer track, this being of course our main loop. This is our Kato track. So let's chuck a DF200, I think was the classification for this unit. Should be a one. So once as usual, we'll rock the model back and forth a little. And then we'll go do its running in. We'll do about 20 minutes each way, because it's smaller motor, smaller mechanism. The layout's set to be modified a little bit. There's a power drop on this layout at the moment, but shouldn't be too bad. So let's have a look. Very good. We've got headlights. I don't think we've got any tail lights though. Yep, no tail lights. All right. Guess all there is to just begin it. You will notice there's a couple of other Kyushu, the rest of our Kyushu fleet is out as well. They sit around in the background, plus a couple of other things, just because that's what I had parking around. So take it away. We'll be doing about 50% on the controller. This is a Kato SX controller. Right, there we are. That's the running in all completed, running pretty nicely now. Currently got it parked up in the closer platform. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the two D10s, because if you notice that it did shift partway during the video. I'm going to have them, I'm going to go and place the carriages behind it. I'll have them pull the cars into the platform. Sort of like what they kind of do in real life, although the engine will usually be connected on already. So I'll go get that set up, and then let's go and run the cars. Alright, all hooked up, got all 7 carriages now we can see going through the platform. We're having some issues with the DE10s, that's why they were in split mode. Power issues more than anything, not really the DE10's fault. That's where you may have noticed the train suddenly stopping in frame, but other than that, trains are ready to go. Pretty nice. We've got a couple of internal lamp lights, which is really cool on the first 2 cars. Obviously tail and marker lights also fitted to the carriages. So very, very nice carriages, I bet. So fitting for the type of train it is. We're going to attempt a loop. I'm a bit worried on some of the gradients. There's some undergear on these carriages where the gradients do usually catch anything that's a little bit low hanging or anything that's a little bit too long. I did attempt to do a quick run with the D10s on the set of carriages before we actually got them running, but it definitely failed to go one way, so we'll see how it goes in the forward direction. If it doesn't, then we'll have to put on the short loop, which is where the D10 is currently sitting, because that doesn't have any funny gradients and whatever it is, so at least we can get it running. And then we may leave it for a future video when we run it on a better length track, when the layout isn't set up in whatever this is. So let's give it a go. Unfortunately, I can confirm the train does not make it out over the gradients. I think the unit has even derailed itself slightly because the carriages are on but the unit isn't. What's actually happening is, as I say, that's the sharp point between where you crest the hill, which means it's just a bit of a sharp point on the underside of the unit and it hits the some of the undergear. Also happens with SL Hideyoshi as well, funnily enough, so we'll get it moved onto the other track and we'll have to obviously get it off that bridge first. Alright, D10's been shifted, so we'll have it come out of this platform and run onto over the X junction, and then we'll just do a couple of loops on the centre track. And yeah, unfortunately we can't do the full main run. It's not the fault of the train, unfortunately. It is due to the gradients and how the bridge sections work. I do have quite a few fleet units which have this problem as well. That's definitely not unique to this one. So it's just a bit unfortunate. So let's get it moving. We'll see how we go. Oh, well, there we are. That's hopefully that's been enough of a run. Unfortunately, we had to use the smaller circuit, which means we didn't really have as much opportunity to get in kind of more different shots, but eventually we'll obviously have a look. You should hopefully be able to see it running again. We'll run it again for another video eventually. But so what do we think? It's not a bad, very, very nice model. It looks very good, especially. Very nice box it comes in. Very nice consist, has nice little lights and so on. It's actually like Hideyoshi having those lights on the inside. Mechanism's very nice. Well, of course, we have been running it on a Atomics controller rather than a Kato controller this time. So you could probably tell when we change over between the controllers and the slightly differences. But of course, the main difference we get is the light don't turn on in before moving off. It actually stays off. But yeah, so other than that, it's a very nice model. I don't see anything wrong with it. Definitely haven't noticed anything wrong with it. It is unfortunate we can't get it down the grades though. It hits the grades, but it may also be because of my rather annoying setup. If it was on a straight, it mightn't be too bad because it is on a corner where I've got it coming down the curve, so a bit unfortunate. Anyways, with that, hope you have enjoyed joining us for this unboxing of Kato's 7 Stars in Kyushu. Definitely a very nice model. Definitely something different. Not sure how far I'll go with this after this, because of course there is something called the Trinity of cruise trains, and I don't think I'm doing any of the others because it's not my area, so it's not my interest. So other than that, we'll let this one go, and we'll have our ratings at the end. The issue that was having with the thing will not be reflected in those numbers, because that's more of a track setup problem. So with that, thank you for watching. We'll catch you all next time.